This grief is never ending for communities like Newtown, which is why I am as passionate today as I was in the days and weeks following. And why, for me, Orlando was a breaking point. I just looked at myself in the mirror, and I think, as you will hear from some of my colleagues who will interject with questions, they reached a breaking point as well, that we couldn't proceed with business as usual in the Senate this week. That we couldn't do what we have largely done after mass shooting after mass shooting. We couldn't go on and debate other issues and ignore the fact that the vast majority of Americans, 80 to 90%, want us to take this action, and that it would be impactful. Now, again, you can say what I'm proposing today wouldn't have changed the result in Sandy Hook, because this individual in Sandy Hook, he did buy the weapon with a background check through a legal means. His mother did. And I understand that. There's no one change in law that's going to apply to every situation. But it potentially would have been impactful in Orlando. As I'm sure Senator Feinstein will explain later today, there is a possibility that if her bill had been in effect, the FBI could have put this individual on a list that would have prohibited him from buying a weapon. And had we expanded background checks to make sure that it applied to internet sales and gun show sales, then he might have been stopped in his ability to get this weapon. We can't know that for sure, but we certainly can say that it would have been less likely that he would have been able to get that weapon and carry out this crime had those laws, again supported by the vast majority of American public, been in effect. And by acting, by coming together and finding a way to act on these two non-controversial measures, I think we also send an important signal to the American public and to would-be murderers that we're serious about stemming this epidemic. I think that people notice when we remain silent. I know it's unintentional, but it almost seems to some people as if we don't care about what happens when we don't try to do anything about it. And I understand that we have deep disagreements here about how to proceed. But with the exception of 1 week in 2013, we have not brought a debate to this floor in which we try to hash out our differences. Republican leadership didn't announce in the wake of Orlando that we were going to spend this week working on trying to enact measures to make sure that another mass shooting doesn't happen. And there's a fundamental disconnect with the American people when these tragedies continue to occur and we just move forward with business as usual. And so I'm going to remain on this floor until we get some signal, some sign that we can come together on these two measures, that we can get a path forward on addressing this epidemic in a meaningful, bipartisan way. Orlando is the worst mass shooting in American history.